For this shot, we've already got the background, the scene set up, so we only need to animate the characters. So I'm just going to go to Cartoon Animator 4, then start by importing the security. So let's start with the security one, then open. So I'm just going to scale him up so that we can get a great resolution while exporting him. So if you check this storyboard, you see that they are going to walk from this side to this side. So I'm just going to flip this character. So flip him. Then I'm going to go to my animation to add an animation template to it. So click on animation, then click on motion. Now you can double click on 3G human and double click on turn overs new. So I'm going to be double clicking on this side as well. So I'm just going to scroll down, then find an animation template, a walk animation template to the character. So I think this is it. So I'm just going to start with the 2L because if you check the storyboard, I want him to walk from a blank space through the side. So we don't need to start with the walk 1S. I think this starts. So let's start with the walk 2L. So I'm just going to double click this. So this is like 2 seconds and 5 frames. So I think I should do it more because I'm not sure the exact time this scene is going to take. So let's just go to Cartoon Animator 4 and do it once more. So let's stop it at this 129th frame. So I'm just going to click on this, then change the project length to 129. So click on OK. This is right. So I'm going to be importing the next character. Make sure you are not selecting this character, so you can just click on anywhere blank space here. So go to file, import model, and let's import the security too. So I'm just going to be scaling him up as well. Oh, make sure before you do any changes here, make sure you are on frame 1 or else it's going to end up as motion. So make sure you are on frame 1. So scale him up. So I'm not sure, I think this character is not tall like this guy here. So I'm just going to flip him as well. So I want him to be above this soldier one, this security one I mean. So you can just click on this 3D view, then you can bring him forward in the Z axis. So I'm going to click it back. You see that is way up now. So if I add my walk template to it, you see that they are both working like robots. So I'm going to be removing that. So I'm just going to start from 10 frame so that they can have some. Let's just start from 10 frame. So you are going to see what I'm talking about. Okay, you see now they are working, let's say, differently. So I'm going to add the second motion as well. So when I get to Cartoon Animator 4, I'm going to cut away the first 10 frame. So it's just going to start from this. Now before I export, I'm going to change the facial expression. So you can just click on Ctrl K or you can access it manually through here. So I'm going to go to templates, then let's find something like angry. So I think that's okay for this character as well. Okay, I think that's right. Oh, make sure you start from the first frame. I made that mistake. Like the first frame, let's start from there. Yeah. So I'm just going to move forward and change their angry expression. So move here, change this guy to something like this. Move here. Yeah. And you can just move somewhere here and change this. Yeah, I think that's right. So I'm just going to play this. Let's play this again. Okay, their facial expression are changing, so it feels they are alive. So let's just save this. I'm going to save it as securities working. Yeah, let's just save it as that. So save, Ctrl S for save, or you can access it manually here. So let's export. You can click on this icon. So go to video, then the format, select MOV, make sure transparent video is ticked, 30 frames. Okay, so let's change the frame size to 1080p because that's what we are using in cartoon and in After Effects. So let's click on export. Okay, I'm just going to use the same name I used to save this. So working. So let's save and let's wait for it to render out. When it's done rendering, let's go to After Effects and drag it into the project layer. So I'm just going to double click on my characters and name in my movie folder, then transparent video. So let's drag it into the project. Now let's drag this into the timeline. So let's just drag it somewhere, then let's adjust it. So I'm going to be putting, I think I'm going to scale them down. Let's start by that. S for scale, so you can reduce these and make sure they match where you want them. Okay, I think this match, I think I'm going to be using something like 85. Yeah, 85 is great. So I'm going to add a position keyframe to this character. So that means when they are at this time, I want them somewhere around the screen. So P for position. So I'm just going to shift them back somewhere here and add a position keyframe. So let's go to something like 9. Yeah, I think we are deleting 10 frames from this, so that would be 25. Oh, so I'm just going to cut this. Let's bring the keyframe somewhere here, then let's cut this, Ctrl Shift D to split it. So delete this, then once you press P, the keyframe will be here as well. So I'm just going to shift this to the front. Then okay, let's go to something like 9 seconds and let's increase this. So we are changing their position in the x-axis. So I'm just going to make them walk up the screen. So you can play that and watch the speed. I'm going to replay that. This is a fast speed, so there's something you can do. You can just scale them up more. Let's try something like 95. Okay, let's go back to P, then let's see. Okay, I think this is great. So this work circle is great, but I'm going to be putting them below the spaceship. So I think the spaceship is the 2C. So once they are here, they are going to be blocked by the spaceship and they are going to walk out like this. So I think this shot is going to stop at 9 frames. So you can just select all and then Ctrl Shift D to split them and bring them up. So you can just delete these shots. We are going to be using this for another shot, so you can just delete their work there. Now once you go back to the storyboard, you notice that the protagonist is peeping. So let's add that an action. So let's go back to Cartoon Animator 4. So I'm just going to close this, then you can close this. So let's start new file. So I'm going to import the model, which is Ethan. So let's scale him up. So this is what I want. I want the character to peep. The best way to achieve this is by creating a reference video by setting up a camera at yourself and act the action you want. Then animate the character by following the reference video frame by frame. But I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to do this and prospect everything with my eyes. So let's start with the pose. So I'm just going to make him peep like this, a peeping pose. Let's start by that. So I'm just going to click on this icon, which is the motion key editor. So I'm just going to change everything here. So you can select a bone here. You can also select it here as well. So let's bring this like this and bring this like this. Yeah, so let's close this and try and rotate this, rotate it, scale it up. So you can just bring this somewhere like this. Now I'm going to change the facial expression. Let's just use Ctrl K, then something like this. Okay, I want something like this. Now let's work on his pose. So click on this. Yeah. Okay, I think I still need to rotate this more. So the best way you can do this is by just shooting a reference shot for it. It's going to turn out real nice than just doing it regularly like this. So I'm going to shift, I want to shift the hand inside. So you can just check off and you can just unclick this icon. So it's going to give you the access to, if you want to stretch the hand or reduce it. So I'm just going to be doing that. Let's just reduce this as much as we can. Okay, I think something like this. So something like this is great. I'm going to be bringing this like this and this like this. So I think this is great. So this is okay for the first shot. And remember, we need something like 130 frames. So let's set up the frames first. So project length, I'm just going to type 129. So the first keyframe, let's start with the first frame. So I'm just going to shift his head down, something like this. I think, okay, something like this. Then I'm going to go to something like 30 frames. That's 1 second. Then bring his head up. So if you play that, see, it checked the motion. I think that's too slow. So you can just go to your timeline and make sure you are on, like, you click on motion. Then so this transform, you can just reduce it to something like 15 frames. So you can just put this at 15 frames. So once you play it back, you see, okay, that turned out great. So I'm going to change the facial expression. So I want him to be looking I want him to be looking like this. Then yeah, now he's going to be looking like this. So once you go back and play it, you see, that's right. So from here now, I'm just going to be changing his facial expression. Let's start from the first frame. Let's start from this. So we can just change it to amaze. So let's go to 30 frame and change it to this. Let's play this out first. Okay, we can go to 60, change the angle mode, then let's go to 90, change the angle mode, and 120. Yeah, that's great. So when it's at, let's say something like 90, so from 30, I'm going to be adding a keyframe here for the face. So you can just scroll down. So there's no face stuff here, so just scroll back up and click on this face. So once you scroll down, you are going to see facial clip here. So I'm going to open this, then I'm going to double click this place where the head is. So it's going to give it the same keyframe as this here. So I'm just going to go to 60, or let's try 120. Yeah, 120. Then I'm going to change his head like this. Okay, so we can just replay this. Okay, I think this is great. So I'm just going to save this as Ethan Pip. So I think this is nice. So let's save this and render this as well. So the format MOV, then the frame size 1080p. Then I'm going to click on export. Okay, so I'm going to save this as Ethan Pip. Then let's save and wait for it to render out. So when it's done rendering, let's go to After Effects and import it into the project. Okay, this is it, Ethan Pip. So I'm just going to drag it into the timeline. Then I think we are putting it under the 2B. So we are putting it there. So I'm just going to scale it, S for scale. So let's scale it something like, okay. Then I'm going to, you can add rotation because this hand is not perfect. So okay, I think it's going to be minus then. So let's try -5. Let's start from 5. Okay, I think that's right. So you can just bring this up a little up, you can just use perspective. Okay, so I'm just going to play this. Now this thing doesn't work well, so it's like I'm going to be adding position. So let's go to something like 6 seconds and let's click on this layer, then select, click on P. So let's add this position. So at 6 seconds we want this layer here. So let's go back to where it begins, which is something like 5 seconds and 15th frame. So I'm just going to drag it to this side so that it should shift to this side. So let's play this. So you see it's coming out. So we can just make him come out after this cup works, or when the cups reach somewhere here, so it should come out. So let's just drag this back here. So you see, that's right. So I'm going to be scaling him down. So click on the layer, then S for scale. So let's try something like 35. Is looking too big there. So yeah, okay, this is great. So I'm just going to go to where the shot is going to end, and then let's cut this layer. So Ctrl Shift D to cut, then delete that. So I think this is nice, but I think we still need to work on the position because it's not well positioned. Look at the hands. So select P, then let's go to this keyframe. Then I'm going to shift in a bit. So this is nice. So let's save this. I think this keyframe looks good. You can cross check with your storyboard. Oh, we still need to add some zoom camera position here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to select all the layer here, then let's link them to this 2A. We should use the 2A as the, what should I call it, parent. So I'm just going to select S to, then once I scale the 2A, the rest is going to scale. So once I move the 2A, the rest as well will follow. So okay, you can just play it from the previous shots. So I think this is nice. I'm supposed to add some camera movements here, but I don't think I'm going to be adding that. I think this is great. So let's just save this